Are you joining Doge? Yeah, maybe I will.
So Democrats are being called out by their own party for their behavior.
Jesus, bro. Like, this is some, like, millennial whose entire personality is watching The Office level energy. It's bad. It's real bad.
President Trump's address to Congress.
That is how you save democracy, by quietly dissenting or bidding on an antique tea set. It was hard to tell what was going on.
I don't know who thought up the bingo signs, but they should be fired.
Michael, this is an indictment, in my opinion, on the Democratic leadership.
We saw this.
Well, we saw the theatrics tonight in the chamber are not being well received.
I will say, I thought that was just, I think there were times when they should have risen. I think what Al Green did was despicable.
And even Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman expressed his disappointment, posting this on social media. It only makes Trump look more presidential and restrained. We're becoming the metaphorical car alarms that nobody pays attention to, and it may not be the winning message.
I really like this guy. I don't agree with everything he says, but I think he's a real one. You know?
Joining us right now is the host of Piers Morgan Uncensored. He puts his name in every show he's on. Piers Morgan, great. And we don't even talk about
By
the way, watching you try to interview the head of world football, you couldn't even remember the name of the sport. It's football. Watching you do that was one of the more comical things I've witnessed. Only rival.
He's talking about soccer, by the way. Don't get confused.
By what happened over here on the floor.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it was actually very embarrassing. Well done, Lawrence, but that was embarrassing.
I love you. I love you. We have to defend our American sport. It's called soccer.
It is football. Right?
Don't you want to defend me?
Yes, I'm defending Ryan.
It's all about America.
Don't come into
You mean
our
real
home.
football? Yeah, no, I mean the football you play with your hands.
Smile on your face. So what do you think? What about Democrats against
What do I
Democrats?
think? Here's what I think. I think it was one. I was watching it live here in New York. I thought it was one of the most pathetic, petty, shameful things I've ever witnessed. And he went on.
He's so right. He's so fucking right. Yep.
And on and on. And, you know, back in the UK, we have Parliament. It gets very rowdy, very noisy.
Yeah.
They all have a pop at each other. They lock horns. What you would never see is somebody like that 13-year-old boy.
Look at their face, bro. Like, this is what I was saying, bro. Like, you really think you get a 22-year-old guy to be like, yeah, this is what I want. Yeah, I want these people to tell me what to think. Nah, bro. Nah, that shit is done.
A brain cancer survivor who's been through 12 surgeries, I think, who's being there, having his dream lived out on global television, and Donald Trump has facilitated that. Just get up and applaud that boy. The fact they couldn't even do that, I thought was just contemptible. I really did.
It looked stupid. It was an optical mistake, and they should have gotten up and clapped for it. And then also, like, we always have one of these people in chat. Why do we shit on Dems? But whenever MTG and Bobart screaming during Biden's speech gets a pass, when did I give them a pass? When did I do that? I'm curious when I did that. I mean, there's got to be a reason, right? I mean, it's not like he just, there's no way he just, like, imagined this, is there? He's not about to roach out, is he? You're not about to roach out. You've been typing for a bit. You've been having all kinds of opinions. You've been having all kinds of opinions, but now you get pulled up. We, not in specifically you, still here? Yeah, as in not specifically you. Yeah, because I didn't. Who here agrees with me that them doing it was also fucking retarded? It was retarded, annoying, and disruptive. Yeah. You're fighting with ghosts. Yeah, sure. There's some people that are biased. Definitely. Yeah, for sure. But, like, not everybody. One doesn't excuse the others. Yeah. You're purposely misunderstanding them? No, I'm not.
And the Democrats have got to take a good, long, hard look at themselves because the stupid signs, the not getting up for the poor families of these murdered people, the way they treated that boy.
The whiteboard was too much. Even the signs were okay. The whiteboard?
The walkouts. The silly Instagram stuff afterwards.
Yeah.
Look at me, I didn't go in. This is the President of the United States speaking.
What's going on?
In the heart of politics.
Yeah.
I think they've, honestly, Lawrence, they've lost the plot. The Democrats have lost the plot. They did not see this big win coming for Trump in the election. They got completely wiped. They've lost all power. And they are scrabbling to work out what they do about this.
It's
and I think the key
energy.
messages that Trump keeps ramming home.
Worst person to talk about this? Well, doesn't that make him the best person to talk about this? Because if you think Piers Morgan, if he can figure this out and he's not even from the U.S., then why the fuck can't they?
America is no longer a woke country, and that secondly, he's the sort of pioneer of a revolution of common sense. They don't know what to do about this. I mean, on one hand, you've got them all in their pink gear, right, going on about women's rights. On the other, they won't applaud a president who wants to bring back equality and fairness to women's sport in America.
Piers, a lot of people can relate to this, though, that are Republicans or conservative, because if you support Trump, they hate you too.
Yeah.
And so this little boy, he's there. It's not about Trump at that moment. It's about this little boy, and Trump's just allowing him to be a Secret Service agent. We don't know how that child's family votes.
That's
They're
right.
from Houston.
They started calling the kid. They started saying that he was a DEI hire. Like I saw like some like leftist people saying that he's a DEI hire. And I'm thinking to myself, so if this kid's getting a ceremonial position that doesn't actually matter just to make him feel good, and you're calling that DEI, it's just interesting. That's all.
That moment, Ainsley, I thought, when Trump invited him to the Oval Office with his family.
That's right.
And my little boy said, "Can I give you a hug?"
Yeah.
That is the human side of Donald Trump, which we've all seen a lot of, right? I'm really pleased we're seeing more of that this time around, because that is what he can be about. And I think the Democrats have lost their sense of humanity. I mean, they just don't know what to do. It's extraordinary to watch.
Last week, we had Macron and Starmer come visit, and then with Zelensky in the meltdown on Friday. And now there was an emergency meeting last night with European leaders. How do you view Europe being asked and told to come together and support Ukraine or other causes, build up your military, take ownership? How does that look from the inside?
Trump is 100% right about this, and he has been from the moment in his first term he went on about NATO and how the European countries were simply not paying their dues, and they weren't.
I don't see any defense for why they're not paying the money. If you can't pay the fucking money, then why do we have to pay the money? It's that simple. Yeah, like, I mean, fuck that.
And guess what? Now most of them do. But they should still be now.
Everybody, we always get one of these people. We always get one of them. And okay, now Israel. Again, you're jousting at windmills. You're fighting with ghosts. You're in an argument with a person that doesn't exist.
Paying more. You know, Poland, I think, has gone to 5% GDP on defense now, right? They're leading the way. Europe should be standing on its own 2 feet. If I was an American, I would be sick and tired of constantly having this assumption from Europe that you will always be here to pick up the pieces, to pay the bills, to do all the fighting. Right?
A lot of Americans do feel exactly the way that Piers is expressing. And I think this has been something that's been ongoing for a long time with like basic American sentiment. And Americans, I think, have a lingering resentment towards Europeans who always act high and mighty about their, their social systems or, their culture being more educated. Meanwhile, we're providing their defense. Meanwhile, we're paying our NATO dues and they're not doing that. And so as soon as people realized that was going to happen, that resentment was then channeled into not giving a fuck about helping Europe. That's the reason why. like I would say like a huge amount of people in America feel this way.
Very proud that the UK has fought alongside America in many conflicts. My brother was a British Army colonel, fought in Iraq and Afghanistan. So, you know, nothing means more to me than that special relationship. But at the same time, Europe has got to start punching its way. I like the fact my new Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, and Macron, they seem to be leading this way now for Europe to step up properly. But I hope we do a deal in the end that brings, as Trump wants, peace, where the Americans are there, but you're not having to do all the heavy lifting like you normally do.
But Piers, do we, because some of the messaging from the mainstream media and Democrats is that I don't think we look weak, but they feel like we look weak as a country. What is the perception in the UK?
I don't think that a lot of people care about looking weak. I think Americans are less concerned with like the international, like we care more about our own infrastructure and our own country than what Germany's opinion of us is. That's not particularly important. It's just not. Don't care anymore. Yeah, it's just it's not higher on the priority list. Now, if we could have both, that'd be nice, and I think in a lot of ways we probably could. But if you had to pick, it's gonna be our stuff. You guys don't even know where Germany is? Proves my point. There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's funny because I spoke to President Trump last Friday morning, just the day after he'd seen the British Prime Minister at the White House. And I texted him, I said, I've never seen better media coverage in the UK than what I've seen this morning. Every front page lauding the return of the special relationship. Then there was the Oval Office bust-up. The next morning front page is the complete opposite, which is very, you know, that's very Trump world, right? I think the reality is, as always, people react hysterically to everything the president does. They can't really work out what's going on. I always try and remind them. I'm known as the Trump whisperer in the UK. Well, what's he really doing? I said, why don't you just remember what he is?
Negotiation.
He's a businessman who's negotiating. I think Donald Trump genuinely wants peace. I think that he wants to bring everyone to the table, but I think he also wants Ukraine to accept that the war is where it is. This war has not moved in 8-9 months. Hundreds of thousands of people have been killed on this battlefield. It has got to stop. But he's got to do it, I think, in a way where America is strong, but also the Europeans understand this is a war happening in Europe. And you can't just go knocking on the door and say, America, sort it all out for us. It's got to be a concerted team effort. And I think...
This is exactly the way a lot of voters here think, I believe. I believe this is the way they think. Yeah, absolutely.
Personally, knowing how Donald Trump feels about this, I think he will get that. And in the end, we'll look back on this period as being a little bit rocky, as these things always are when you try and sort out a war. But ultimately, I think we'll get to peace and people will thank him.
We'll see if this is the one deal that Putin sticks to, because he's famous for...
Well, you know what's interesting? I found a clip and it went viral, actually, and it was from when I interviewed...
No way. Oh my God. That's the one that we watched and we put that one up there. Oh my God. This is the interview with Bill Clinton. Remember that?
Bill Clinton at CNN about 10 years ago. And he was talking about his dealings with Vladimir Putin when he was president and Putin just come into power in Russia. And he said the interesting thing was, in public,
that is
they'd
crazy.
Have all their squabbles and everything else. But in private, if he agreed on something and shook hands with you, he always kept his word. I think Trump has that relationship with Putin. I think that they say what they say in public, but fine, and he has to play the game a bit to get Putin to the table. But I think behind the scenes, there's a lot of talking going on, and clearly Trump believes when it's him and Putin, he can trust him. That may be enough in this situation. We'll see.
For 4 years.
I told you he was going to be a good guest. They didn't think so. I told you.
Listen, I've got all morning. I mean, they want me to come and watch you lot kick a football. I mean, it's like, do they even know what the sport is?
I know.
I'm going to be judging it. Are you out there later?
It's so weird for a Brit to be arrogant about soccer. It's so unique. You never get that.
It's not soccer. It's football.
We know.
You took our sport. You changed the shape of the ball.
That's
right.
right.
Padding and helmets.
That's right.
We made it better.
You've been a co-host before. It's time for
Yeah,
Ainsley to
true.
talk. We got to to pass over to the
Guess
female
what?
anchor.
We're just taking time away from Brian's next interview.
Why don't we just keep, listen, I've got all morning.
I know, once he's on, he doesn't leave.
Right. They wrapped us like 1 minute ago. So take it out of Brian's time with his guest, not mine, please.
Nothing better than taking time out of Brian's time.
Right.
Nothing sweeter in the world.
Who booked
Keep
him?
talking.
Who booked him?
Piers, always good to see you. Thank you.
love
He's
to
got a
see it.
point. Yeah, we're dumb for changing football. It is dumb that I don't know how we did this, where we decided that the game that you play with your hands is now called football. Like, I mean, I think it's ridiculous too. I do. It's very ridiculous. There's the video. I think that Piers is right about a lot of this. And it's interesting to see, like, somebody who's not even like a Native American, like born here, like, obviously he's in fucking the UK, right? I think he gets it. I think he does. And he does. And at least he kicked the ball with the foot at some point. Yeah, but you don't even get as many points for that one. Aren't field goals like 3 points and a touchdown 7? I feel like, yeah, you don't even get half as many points for the ones that you score with your feet. Yeah, Native American. Well, like, what I mean is he's native to America. Like, I mean, I get what you're saying. Yeah, touchdown is 6. Oh, okay. Yeah, touchdown 7. I don't fucking remember, right? I mean, I'm not a big sports guy. I'm not a memer. I'm not sports is stupid. I'm too smart for sports. But I'm not a big sports guy either, to be honest. It's just not really my kind of thing.